We're in Florida.
We're in Florida. We're in Orlando. And I asked Ira, I said, will you marry me? And help me with them boys. Now, we talking about almost 30 days, about 28 days. And she said, did you say yes?
No, not then.
Not then. She didn't say yes.
I said, I'll let you know. So I go out on the beach and I lift up my head to heaven and I talk to God. And I say to God, I said, God, all my life, I have wanted to marry a man that I believe loved you like I do. I've always wanted to marry a Christian man, someone that would not be jealous of my love for God, someone that would understand how much I wanted to live for God. And so I said, is this the man that I should marry? And so I just got silent. I prayed and I said, I do believe you, Lord, that you can teach us. You can teach us what we don't know about being married and loving each other. And so the next day I did say yes. And so then he told his mother-in-law.
Yeah, I told my mother-in-law
my goodness.
that we was going to get married.
And we were going to go back through Kingsland, Georgia.
So I called the preacher. I knew his name, knew him. We hired him. And I called him. I said, Richard, I said, you in town? Because he was living in Jacksonville. And I said, yeah. I said, he said, what do you need? I said, I think about getting married. He said, when? I said, tomorrow. I ain't going to tell you what the preacher said. But tomorrow, so we did. We leave Orlando. We drive back to Kingsland, Georgia. And I goes to a little shop. We buy the little ring, $30.
$30 for the license.
$30 for the license. She got a little breath to put in her hair.
Baby breath from the little florist.
And so
$60 for the ring, the little wedding band.
So don't tell me you got to spend $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 for a wedding. And
don't nobody pay him any attention.
I tell him all the time, you don't spend all that money for no wedding. $60 max. That's all you need to spend.
No diamond. No diamond. No diamond.
You don't stay together. We've been together 42 years. Only cost me $60. But, so we did. We go to the church building.
And Richard does. He talks to us that night.
Yeah. The
night before we got married. Like I say, we did. Ask his mother-in-law, and at the time there, she said that we could not hurt her daughter was gone, and that she was okay with, that's what she said with us. And then privately with me, she said that she wouldn't marry him because that he had a lot of financial problems and she felt he would always have them. And so that's the only thing, that was her only advice to me, that she wouldn't do it. But she couldn't stop us and she was okay with it. And so that night, Richard talked to us and Richard said to me, he said, now, Ira, it's going to be harder on you than on him. And I didn't understand that. He just said that you need to be, are you prepared for what's going to be said and what's going to come at you? Well, I didn't think that far. All I thought about was, I'm going to be honest with you. I was young and I thought, I love God. This is not too hard for God. And I'm doing a good thing. I'm finna help a man that's a preacher to help him raise his children. He could continue his ministry. Now, I don't know. Richard did not spell out, or I didn't ask questions. I just said, yes, I'm ready. But I just believe God. I believe God that this was not too hard for God. And I had no idea what tomorrow was going to bring when we got back to Tennessee. I had no idea, but I still trusted God.
But but before then, I did call my mom and my dad, and I told them what I was going to do, and they had no problem, with it at the time. So that was a plus, for me. At least my parents was okay. At least they told me they was okay. Whether or not they was okay with it or not, but looking back on it now, I don't think they were, because you just don't do what we did.
Yeah, it was too soon.
Yeah, it was too soon.
And we didn't think that. We just trusted God. I'm telling you, this was just I just trusted God, and I just thought this would be okay for me to help him raise the boys. And that's just how my faith was and still is in God. But I didn't know the length of us clinging to God until we got back to Tennessee, because this is what we didn't know. We didn't know that she had called literally all family in Dixon and told them that he was finna marry this woman, and that he had married this woman. And we didn't know that. So when we get back to Tennessee and get to her house, I really believe it may have been everybody they knew in Dixon was there waiting for us.
Yeah, but
it wasn't for congratulations.
No. But the whole idea of us getting married was to raise the boys.
Right.
That was the whole point. It wasn't because we loved each other. Because we did not love
not
each
as
other.
a husband and wife. We
We
had a friendship, but not a eros love, a romantic, and all of that. None of that was there.
Never dated.
Never had
dated.
A thought or a desire or a temptation. We never saw each other like that. But they didn't believe that.
Yeah. Because all kind of things were said, and you can just imagine what was being said, about us. So we get back home, and that was a long ride, I tell you. It took us 8 hours to get there and 28 to get back. It seemed like it took that long. It was just long trip, but we got back.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And I, like I told you guys the other night, and I don't know of no other way to put it than to just say like it really was. When we got back to Tennessee, all hell broke loose.